Yes, buckle up because we certainly are in the NZV8s. The Fujitsu 200 and all the big guns right up the front of the field for race 2. Great track here at Manfeild, fantastic corner. Higgins down the back straight into the Dunlop sweeper onto the front straight. And here's how they line up in the BB Ultimate grid. Johnny McIntyre on pole, Booth alongside of him.
Row 2 sees another 4GM battle, Craig Baird and Paul Manuel.
And it's Kane Scott, the series leader, under pressure alongside him, Adam Brook.
Then have the two Fords of Michael Bristow and Eddie Bell.
Some of the improvers in the field, Porter and Penny.
We then have the returnees to the championship, Dean Perkins and Australian Luke Yordan.
Yes, great to have the GT man back, Nick Ross and Paul Pedersen. Next up on the grid.
We then have Dale Williams, Simon Richards.
Inky Tulloch, Angus Fogg after his dramas in race 1, side by side.
Then back to row 10 sees Dave Stewart and John Hepburn.
Timmy Edgell and Alan McCarrison.
And then on the final row we see Andrew Anderson and Andy Knight.
And it's good to see our cloudy graphics actually matching the conditions for the day here at Manfeild for the Fujitsu 200. 16 laps. I've got to say, Mark, the rolling starts, you know, first gear, 50k, they've certainly sorted out some of the dramas that we had previously in the championship.
Unfortunately, we had to learn a very valuable lesson to get there, but hey, look, we're away green.
There's the big mighty roar.
Look at this, 3-4 abreast. It just never ceases to amaze me how they can hopefully get through the first corner in one piece.
The bold, the brave, and the beautiful in the NZV8s, 3 wide.
Oh, I thought I was going to put the commentator's curse on, but they've got through. What's interesting there, Paul Manuel has actually jumped Craig Baird into third place. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there's a bit of a contact there. And looks like, is that Eddie Bell?
It is, yeah, he had a fantastic race going in race 1.
Well, as we always say, first lap, first couple of corners, buckle up.
That's what happens, you know, 3 into 1 never ever works. So, unfortunately, byproduct of that.
And I was just going to say, they really carry some great speed coming out of that first corner into the S's, don't they?
Well, they do that, and that's flat out in third gear, turn 2. So, you know, not completely unsurprising seeing that many cars go in there and only one come out.
Out of Higgins for the first time, McIntyre, Booth, Manuel, Baird, Scott.
Keep in mind, the one to watch out for here is Kane Scott. As we mentioned before, he has 4 new tyres. We don't know whether he's going to use them in this race or maybe for the reverse grid race. Craig Baird on the inside of Paul Manuel.
Good move there. Oh, ducks down the inside. Sweet as. Manuel hanging it wide and hanging on to it too.
Good first lap, mate. 15 to go.
That's how hard, you know, these guys are expert, they're professional racing drivers, and that just shows how hard they're trying to push on cold tyres.
Another good battle too in the NZV8s between the big improvers, Bristow and Porter.
Yes.
Was there contact?
I think he just gave him a little bit of a, you know, just a little bit of a kissing. Oh, here we go, Dale Williams into the kiddie litter. Will he get out?
Well, he's just beached it.
Which Andrew Anderson going wide there in the back shot as well.
So plenty of drama already. Porter round the inside of Bristow, makes it stick.
This is not over yet though, still Michael's on the inside. There he goes. Now watch for Andrew to duck down the other side.
It's punch and counter punch.
It is, yeah.
You guys need to get on to Boothie to sort him out and then deal with Craig.
Not too sure that was referring to be honest.
Someone trying to sort out Boothie.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Here we go around the outside. We saw Adam Brook do this to actually Andrew Porter in race 1. Can he do the same?
Look at this. We've got mayhem in Higgins. Cars going left, right and centre. Oh, there's been a big punch up here.
Like to Shane, that was Adam Brook. He had a dealer of a first race.
Safety car, safety car.
So the safety car's out on the track, the yellow flags are out. I think that's also for the earlier incident with Dale Williams, who beached it coming off the end of the front straight. So a chance to sit back and gather our thoughts and take a look exactly what happened here in the Fujitsu 200. First of all, down through the S's. This is the contact between Porter and Eddie Bell and Brook. Eddie Bell gets the worst of the deal, spins around onto the grass, so he's going backwards. One of the rookies in the championship this year. On board Adam Brook. There's the contact. And just no way to go.
Nah, say 2 into 1, never going to work out, unfortunately.
Now let's take a look at how the two teammates right behind each other. Oh, bit of a tap there from Brook perhaps for Eddie Bell.
It was, yeah, once again, absolutely nothing in it.
Rubbing and racing in the NZV8s. This is on board Angus Fogg, looking ahead through the field. And towards Higgins.
Yeah, Dale Williams just see him just disappearing off the left there into the kiddie litter.
Penny.
Oh, good save.
Tulloch moving over in front. On board with Angus. This is looking back from Adam Brook. He just gets the old sideways tap. Pedersen round the outside.
Now you just see the cars filtering to the left and the right. The drivers need to decide which way they're going to go, choose it. Unfortunately, he went up high. That's why those guys run off as well.
Well, this is Inky Tulloch going into Higgins. That's John Penny on the left. Nick Ross down the inside. And bang! Oh!
Gosh, that's the second big hit Nick Ross has had over this weekend in the same part of the car.
Here's the Hydrolink best under pressure moment. It's hard to work out. Here's Foggy. That's Inky Tulloch in front. Watch out, Ross is going to come to a halt here soon. One. Oh, just smash. Nowhere to go.
It's interesting. Angus is still staying right up the bumper of the car, trying to push it out of the way.
Certainly kept the pressure on Inky Tulloch. Under pressure himself.
Go, go, go.
Here they fan out from the restart. Booth having a crack at McIntyre. Porter down the outside. Beard looking for racing room on the inside.
Beard's just going to try to take the freight train move we've seen before. But this is not over. If Andy Booth can just stay here, he's actually going to get the preferred line for turn 2 and 3.
Fantastic speed coming off this first
see, there you go.
Two.
Managed to maintain it. Good racing.
See how they let it drift wide into the corner? Through the S's. Great shots on board the NZV8s from Johnny McIntyre's car, looking back at the chasing bunch led by Boothie, Baird, and his championship rival, Kane Scott.
The key about this race for Andy Booth is we know from previous experience the Commodores are very quick for 4 or 5 laps. Okay, then the cars start fading away and the Fords normally come into their own. This is where that battle's going to start unfold. Next 3 or 4 laps, let's see what happens.
You've got to be feeling for Kane Scott. I mean, look, there's his championship rival out in front. He's had clutch failure on testing on Friday, problems in qualifying on Saturday. Then, of course, the Demistered race 1. Here, suddenly, it's a clear drag strip today for race 2.
Oh, be down the inside like we saw in Paul Manuel a couple laps before.
Of course, Scott's watching that drama unfold in front of him as he tries to get past them.
It's going to be an interesting battle. We know Craig Beard had this car speed in the dry because he qualified on pole. We know he had the car speed in the rain. Nick Ross's car starting to smoke a bit there. That's from the accident damage we saw the lap before.
Down towards Toyota.
Actually, the car in front's smoking as well. I don't know which one it is. That Angus fog. Interesting, Clint. Now, is that radiator smoke or you know, smoke from the engine coming out or a bit of tyre smoke? Well, I dare say it could actually be engine. You see the bonnet's creased right down on it. We know that there's a restriction into the airflow of the engine when that happens. Let's just hope that engine doesn't overheat and cost them a lot of valuable points.
So drama there for Angus Fogg. Here's Kane Scott having a crack at the Big Ben Pius Commodore of Andy Booth. Talking about smoke, under brakes.
There's just maximum amount of braking that Andy can apply to these cars. Craig Beard, we saw this in race 1, just throwing it away in race 2 as well. Drifting it wide onto the grass, coming out of Higgins, and the other 2 guys say, thanks very much, Beardo. God, talk about making hard work for himself. Trying to readdress the mistake, trying to come back. But that's allowed Scott to make up one more ground to try and chase down that man in front, Johnny McIntyre. Certainly does, but what Kane needs to be careful of is he goes one way, Craig is going to go exactly the opposite. So we saw the freight train move before. And look at Beardo just come straight back again. It's a long way around the outside though. Back on board the Fujitsu heat pump Ford of Kane Scott down the inside of Now what does Beard do here? Is Beard going to follow him through? No, you can see in the rear vision, beside in the side mirror there, Craig just tucked in behind him. So Boothie maintaining second place. What about down the inside here out of the hairpin? The problem is it looks dramatic and it's a very good run, but because you take such a tight line, you can't get the delivery in first gear anywhere near as much as the guy that takes the natural high line. So it looks good, very rarely does it ever get pulled off. Now down late and hard into Higgins, squeezing it on. Great rubbing and racing as close as you can be without losing it. Yeah, look at Craig Beard tucked right in behind him. Right in behind. I think Scooter's got him. Look at this. Great racing. The big guns hanging it all out to dry here at Manfeild, and Beard follow Scooter and they both take Booth. You know what's good to see here? We've got Kane Scott, we've got Craig Beard, we've got Andy Booth, we've got Paul Manuel, but there's enough respect, enough professional courtesy. They're giving each other racing room. Fast, fierce racing at the same time. These guys battling with each other now. It's allowed the Michael Bristow, the Andrew Porters to actually get on the back of this second place battle.
And Dean Perkins in there as well. But when he's losing the battle, looks like Foggy.
Well, a lot of work being done on Angus Fogg's Ford Falcon here. Some fairly heavy damage in the front here. They're just lifting that bonnet, and the guys are just looking at the radiator. There's a bit of smoke coming out of here, and looks like that's the end of the race for Angus Fogg. They've just had a look inside the car. He's damaged the radiator. Let's hope he hasn't done any damage to the motor, but the guys have lifted the bonnet. They've shook their head, and that's it for Angus. I'd say he'd be out. A lot of heavy damage on the car.
Well, he had the big clean sweep last year. Won't be doing that this year. Who will take it? Stick around. We'll be back with more on the NZV8s. Welcome back to the chase for the championship. Fujitsu 200 Manfeild McIntyre had a good win in race 1, and look at this. He's got the control over Kane Scott in race 2, but Beard, Boothie, Oryx, Commodore of Manuel, they're all hunting down Kane Scott.
God, this battle is so close. It's just going to take one car to fault it, and they're going to lose 5 or 6 places. Blink of an eye. Oh!
Another good scrap further down the field. Andrew Anderson after his dramas in race 1.
God, that Inky Cullix car, look at that. It's taken a significant amount of damage.
Looks like a stock car.
What it's going to do, though, it's going to do probably one of 3 things. One, you'll see that you can see the whole tyre. It means the car's going to have a lack of downforce. Secondly, the flow into the radiator system is going to be severely reduced. Thirdly, it's going to be restriction to the braking. No cold air going over it anymore.
So a tough weekend for the cat rental car of Inky Tulloch.
Changing down to second gear. Look at Johnny McIntyre just pulling away.
He's had their big race in the Toyotas in the single seaters. That was his first race in a single seater. His last race as a single man. Picked up a win as a married man in his first race this weekend, and he's on target for another double here. He could be on target for his 40th win.
Here's a dark horse in the series, Dean Perkins. Done the first round, had a bit of absentee break there. Coming back, look at Craig Beard's car smoking though.
Good to see the GT Radials man back, trying to hunt down a place in that top 10 after starting back in 11th place. Kane Scott, though, must be feeling his championship slipping away here.
I think that smoke we saw from Craig Beard's car was probably brake more than engine.
There's Edgell. Further back down the field, Simon Richards. With the battle for the top 15, that's Nick Ross in front of him. Gee, they've had a crack at each other throughout the summer. No love lost between those two mates.
No, but you look to the right of the car in front, Nick Ross's car, you'll see the damage that's sustained in that accident at the beginning of the race.
Out of Higgins. The boys of the SEW Euro Drive car had big problems down the South Island. Back on the pace up here in the North Island, down the inside of Dunlop.
He's going to make it stick as well.
It's Nick Ross in the Total Lubricants 007 car. Has to go into the pits. That's the reason why he made it stick.
Dave Stewart getting extremely wide coming onto the last corner.
Andrew Anderson was leading that first race, remember, before he went off. Here he is fighting his way back up towards the top 15. Down the inside of Dave Stewart, back into the racing out of Wellington. And the Althurn Commodore. And what a weekend it's been for Andrew Anderson and the ITN Commodore as well, Mark.
Of course, qualified on the front row of the grid. You know, it was going well in race 1. Just proves how quick fortunes can change in this class.
Reckon he might have got distracted by talking back to Dad, Bruce?
Well, that's some of the feedback we're getting, Clint, unfortunately.
So things can happen both outside and inside the car. This is on board Michael Bristow. Porter having their own little wee scrap. That's Dean Perkins in the background.
Now, if Andrew Porter can just get on the run on the inside and actually stay there, he may get the preferred line coming into the sweeper. No, it just hasn't quite got the edge he was looking for.
Battle for 11th, 12th, 13th. Bristow, Porter, Perkins. God, he let it drift wide onto the ripples.
He did, but he's actually come across enough just to defend that position so Andrew can't get on the inside of him.
Porter looking for racing room down the outside, and that's Luke Youlden in the background as well.
It's a long way around the outside. The one who may benefit out of this is actually Dean Perkins coming into turn 2.
Great rubbing and racing.
He's going to stay there. Look, he's pulled the move off. Outstanding drive.
You got to say, the boys have gone from that biff and bash to just good rubbing and racing now in the NZV8s. Hard and fast.
Yeah, it's a good old clean scrap, isn't it?
Yulden trying to go the power way around the outside.
Michael Bristow, you can see him car getting sideways. I think there was more accelerating in first gear than it was Dean Perkins assisting him. Now this is a good shot to explain the aerodynamics. You'll see the rear wing's got some sign writing on. Now the more sign writing you see, the more angle the rear wing has. The more angle the rear wing has, the more grip it has under braking and at cornering, the slower it'll go in a straight line.
And the more money the team has too, to help it stay on a straight line. And here's the straight drag race down towards Dunlop. Can the GT man hold on?
Dean Perkins is a wily old campaigner. He knows every trick in the book.
The wild man loves to let it drift out sideways. Can really turn it on for the fans and the big Ford. Good to have him back too. Hunting down a top 10 finish here. Small season this year. Bristow.
Interesting, he made a mistake there. You can hear him using first gear. Most cars would be in second gear though. Just recovery mode, that is. Oh, look at this. Oh, fantastic footage. That's the brakes glowing. That's how much heat. That's 700 plus degrees Celsius going through the brakes when they turn orange.
Blazing brakes here in the NZV8s. Eddie Bell trying to force his way back up the field after that split on the first lap. That's Richards in front of him.
One thing we have to keep an eye on, we saw when we look at the front of Simon Richards thing, you see it's all muddy on the front. Same kind of thing with Angus Fogg. It restricts the airflow going in because the mud is actually stopping the air going over the engine. Let's hope that car doesn't overheat.
Well, at the moment, life's good for Richards. A lot better than Foggy. Oh, coming out of Higgins.
He's done a Craig Baird, just run a little bit wide, trying to carry all that speed, the momentum down this long straight.
And straight away, a couple of guys ducked down the inside into Dunlop. Look at Edgell moving down on Bristow.
Man, he's just come from nowhere, Timmy Edgell.
Flying up into the top 10 now.
Doing a good job, because he's recovering from the early incident in the first part of the race.
Had some real good speed, always very fast in qualifying on Friday, Timmy Edgell. Things just don't seem to go his way in qualifying, but it's been a great weekend and a turning point weekend of the championship too for the Squawking Magpie. It's the Johnny McIntyre Racing Ford this weekend, and he's on target to regain the lead in the championship by only just 2 points after race 2 here at Manfeild. Can you believe it?
Clint, and it's actually what we alluded to early part of the race is my theory about the Commodores, and we saw that from the distance. We saw Johnny McIntyre. Then there was Kane Scott and Craig Baird close together. It was a long time before we saw Andy Booth, and even Paul Manuel for that matter, in the footage. So those cars are quick for 2 or 3 laps, drop back.
Penny and Brooke having a crack at each other here. Hepburn trying to stay out of that little wee rumble.
They are just Rubbins racing.
And the John Penny Haynes car.
Something... Hear that, Clint?
Doesn't sound that flash, does it?
No, it doesn't. Something tinkling around inside the car. Possibly a drive shaft, maybe a bit of a debris or a tyre going off. Not too sure what it could be, though.
Battle for 5th place. Manuel and Porter. Paul Manuel had that big win at Pukekohe and the pole position. Can't quite regain that car speed at the moment, though.
Now, what's going to happen, because the Commodores, start falling off in speed a little bit mid-race, these two guys are going to slow each other down, trying to compete for this position. It's going to allow Dean Perkins, Luke Jordan, and Timmy Edgell, for that matter, to get onto this battle.
Good dry conditions for the 16-lapper here at Manfeild today. Porter looking for the outside way down the inside, trying to set up the run into the Denny Holmes straight.
Oh, listen to the cars. That's wheel spinning, just getting a little bit wide. Once again, trying to carry every inch, every kilometre of an hour momentum they can out of these cars. See what happened there? Porter's made a slight mistake, slight puff of smoke coming off a lock brake. Just allowed Andrew Porter to get a run down the inside. I dare say he's going to stay there.
Hold it and Ford, side by side. Great racing. Great sound too on board the NZV8 of Andrew Porter. Last lap, Johnny McIntyre. Can he win his 40th race in the NZV8s and his 4th for the season and take over the lead in the championship? Can Boothie hold on to 3rd from Beard? They've got 1 lap to try and sort it out in this race, and then the big reverse grid showdown as well.
We know how quick things can unfold, so I dare say this battle's not over yet.
Paul Manuel holding on to a place in the top 5. Porter all over him.
3 corners to go now for Paul Manuel and Andrew Porter. But watch for the crossover here. Will he duck down the inside? No, it looks like that Commodore or Paul Manuel's just got the preferred drive off the line.
Perkins also lurking at the back of this big chase too.
Possibly last minute lunge. He's coming. No, he's all right. Oh, he's lost it.
Drama there for Porter.
Run wide. Oh, no, how many places? One.
There he goes. Perkins. Thanks, buddy.
Two.
Oh, Yulden as well.
Some edges in this battle too somewhere.
Oh, drifting it wide. Johnny McIntyre. Here he comes. Win number 4 for the season, his 40th overall. And he takes over the lead by 2 points from Kane Scott in the championship. Beardo closes the gap against Boothie in the battle for 3rd, as Booth settles for 4th and the Commodore and his teammate rounds out the top 5. So celebrations for Johnny McIntyre Racing, back in front in the chase for that title in the NZV8s. But number 1 only has a 2-point lead now. Big swing. We talked about it before the race, and there it is. McIntyre takes the win from Kane Scott with Beardo 3rd and Boothie 4th. Perkins coming home in 6th place. Porter finishing up in 8th. Edgell and Bell round out the top 10. Anderson coming home in 13th after staying down the rear of the grid.